Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting. Today, Anthropic investors are actively threatening to silence their CEO's doomsday warnings right ahead of a trillion-dollar IPO. The creator economy on X just got its rulebook completely rewritten, and an escalating meme war between OpenAI and Anthropic engineers is resulting in massive freebies for developers all over the world.
Yeah, it's a really heavy day on the wire. We are basically watching the underlying architecture of the internet and all the business models attached to it just shift in real time today.
Right, and that is exactly our mission for today. For you listening right now, this deep dive is designed to process this raw feed of the market's top trends. We're going to separate the signal from the noise, figure out exactly who is winning, who is losing, and how these massive shifts actually impact your work and your portfolio.
Because if you just, skim the headlines, it all looks like a chaotic mess of disjointed tech news. But if you look at the downstream impacts, there's a very clear, almost ruthless pattern emerging about who actually holds leverage right now.
Totally. And I want to start with the sheer scale of the capital colliding with reality in the AI space today. There's a fascinating post circulating from the Polymarket account reporting that Anthropic investors are actively pressuring their CEO, Dario Amodei, to basically stop scaring everyone.
Right, about the potential for, AI doom.
Exactly, his existential risk warnings. And let's just lay out the context for why this is blowing up today. Anthropic is heading toward a confidential IPO. We are talking about a valuation approaching $1 trillion.
It's insane. A generational wealth creation event.
Right. And yet you have Amodei consistently warning lawmakers and the public about the extreme downside risks of the very technology he's building. It's like trying to sell the world's fastest sports car while the lead engineer is standing in the showroom screaming that the brakes literally haven't been invented yet.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it.
I mean, how does the market even price that in? A leader who says his own product might be dangerous.
Well, the cynical reality is that the market doesn't want to price it in at all. They want to ignore it completely. I mean, this friction exposes the fundamental hypocrisy of the whole current AI boom.
Which is what exactly?
That institutional capital wants all the financial upside of a godlike technology, right? They want that trillion-dollar valuation based on the idea that AI will revolutionize every industry on Earth. But they absolutely refuse to carry the regulatory or PR baggage of actual danger. They just want the valuation minus the Senate hearings.
So they just want him to play the game until, the lockup period expires and they can cash out?
That is exactly the play. And the second order effect here isn't just about Anthropic's IPO timing. It's a broader signal that when push comes to shove, safety protocols take a backseat to liquidity. Investors are demanding zero friction.
It's a huge red flag for anyone who thought these hyper-funded labs would self-regulate. And, if corporate investors in Silicon Valley are trying to muzzle safety warnings just to secure a payday, you have to wonder how actual governments are reacting. Because they have to be getting paranoid.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, and we see that exact pivot happening today on the wire. Michael Dell, from the Michael Dell account, just announced that sovereign AI infrastructure is officially online in Armenia, specifically in the city of Hrazdan.
I saw that. It is a textbook geopolitical chess move.
The numbers are just massive.
Yeah.
It's a $500 million initial phase, scaling up to over 400 megawatts of capacity, built with Dell PowerEdge servers, NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs, and Firebird Cloud AI.
That 400 megawatt number is wild.
And let's pause on that because it's hard to visualize. We are talking about a facility that consumes enough electricity to power roughly 300,000 homes. And every ounce of that energy is dedicated solely to high-performance AI workloads for their local life sciences, robotics, and space tech.
So, you have to ask why a nation like Armenia is dropping $500 million to build this locally.
Right.
It's because they are reading the writing on the wall. They do not want to rely on foreign hyperscalers.
And for those not building data centers, let's unpack hyperscalers real quick.
Yeah.
You mean the big three, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, the landlords of the internet?
Precisely. They own the massive centralized server farms. And Armenia is basically saying they want out of that rental agreement. They don't want their sovereign data flowing through servers controlled by the exact same US-based AI powers that Dario Amodei is warning about.
So it's basically an insurance policy against Silicon Valley.
It is a total hedge. The second order effect here is the fracturing of the global cloud. We're moving toward a localized AI landscape. Data stays within borders because relying on a foreign tech giant for your nation's core cognitive infrastructure is just, it's an unacceptable vulnerability now.
Wow. So if nations are pulling away from these massive tech giants to control their own destiny, How does an individual creator survive? How do you and I actually extract money from the internet when the infrastructure is shifting so radically?
It's getting a lot harder, that's for sure.
It really is.
Yeah.
Let's look at the creator economy on X because the rules are being completely rewritten today. TechCrunch is reporting that X is entirely winding down its existing revenue-sharing program by September 7th, 2026.
Wow, so just a hard cutoff for the old guard.
Yep. And the very next day, September 8th, they launch a new program called Original Content Rewards. And they are putting up some serious gates this time.
What are the requirements?
To get paid, you now need X Premium, 500 verified followers, and 500,000 verified user impressions in a 90-day period. And they explicitly state that simple reposts or copied material won't qualify anymore.
Well, the context here is that this is a direct response to a totally broken ecosystem. I mean, X is doing this to stop the misaligned incentives of engagement farming.
Oh, the reply guy spam.
Yeah, exactly. Those massive accounts that just constantly repost viral videos or stolen memes just to farm a slice of ad revenue.
Right.
It completely destroyed the signal-to-noise ratio on there.
It really did make the feed feel like a strip mall of spam. But I have to play devil's advocate here. Does putting up a 500,000 impression gate actually incentivize originality? Or does this just create like a new, much more sophisticated type of algorithm chasing?
That is the cynical and probably accurate view. I mean, this new policy will absolutely wipe out the financial viability of those aggregator accounts, but creators aren't going to stop optimizing for clicks.
Right, they'll just change the bait.
Exactly. Hitting 500,000 verified impressions organically is incredibly hard. So you're going to see a pivot toward highly polarizing, high-effort original content. It stops the lazy spam, but it might actually just amplify ideological spam.
And what fascinates me is that this demand for high-effort original content is spiking at the exact same time that the tools we use to create it are fundamentally changing.
The AI tools?
Yeah. Like a personal anecdote here. I was trying to write a custom prompt to Google Gemini yesterday to format some show notes, and half the time I feel like I'm just guessing the magic words.
Right, tweaking sentences over and over.
Exactly. It feels incredibly manual. And that ties directly into our next source from the testing catalog account, noting today that Google is retiring their custom gems on Gemini by October 20th.
And replacing them with modular skills.
Yes, and we need to pair that immediately with what the InVideo official account just launched. They announced workflows on Agent 2. They claim their new frontier AI is 4 times faster at half the price. But the interface is the important part.
Because it replaces manual prompting?
Exactly. It's a guided run now. The AI asks you a few questions, you upload references, you pick some options, and the AI just autonomously executes the entire filmmaking or marketing job.
So the era of the prompt engineer is just dying a very quick death.
It really seems like it. I'm trying to wrap my head around my own role in this. Are we moving from being, AI drivers manually steering the wheel with complex text prompts to just sitting in the passenger seat of an autonomous taxi?
That is a perfect analogy. I mean, the commoditization of prompting is happening so fast. 2 years ago, writing complex custom prompts was supposed to be this 6-figure job of the future. Now, the software just abstracts it away.
Because the AI already knows how to talk to itself.
Precisely. The valuable skill isn't knowing the technical syntax anymore. You're moving from being a typist to an art director. Your value is having the high-level creative intent to pick the right path when the AI asks you what to do next.
Okay, let's follow that thread because this shift from manual prompting to high-level delegation isn't just changing consumer apps. It is causing an all-out turf war in the trenches between the engineers actually building these frontier models.
Oh, the meme war.
Yes. We have a viral post from the Kimenismus account highlighting this hilarious, escalating feud between OpenAI's Thibaut Sotitibo and Anthropic's Boris Cherny, who created Claude Code.
It's like the new, much more entertaining version of the Elon versus Sam Altman feud.
Totally. So to flex how good OpenAI's new GPT 5.6 Soul model is, Thibaut actually used it inside Anthropic's own Claude Code harness. And then, quoting Thibaut directly from his THOZO account, just to celebrate not leaving OpenAI for Anthropic, he literally reset the weekly usage limits for all paid users of ChatGPT Work and Codex.
Just a spontaneous, massive giveaway of compute.
Right. But walk me through the stakes here. To a casual observer, this just looks like lighthearted banter. Why is giving away usage limits a massive flex?
Because compute time is literal money.
Yeah.
Every time a developer queries a model, it costs the lab server power. So giving it away for free is a pure display of dominance.
Wow.
Beneath the banter, this is a ruthless battle for developer mindshare, because the lab that wins the coders today wins the entire ecosystem tomorrow.
So they're essentially bribing the developer class with unprecedented power.
Exactly. And the second order effect of this rivalry is that regular developers are getting massive, unexpected windfalls of capability. It's a total gold rush right now.
And what those developers are doing with these windfalls is staggering. We have a post from the official Three.js account today. Three.js is a super popular 3D JavaScript library. And they just asked, why is the AI suddenly so incredibly good at writing code for Three.js?
People are doing crazy things with it.
Right. The reply showed developers using Claude to build incredibly detailed, lighting-perfect, FPS-style 3D environments entirely from scratch. But here's where I need you to clarify something.
Sure.
Is the AI suddenly a genius at spatial reasoning? Or is it that Three.js is just a perfectly clean sandbox for a machine to play in?
It is entirely the latter. And this proves a much broader thesis. So let's explain Three.js real quick. Beneath smooth 3D web graphics is a messy, low-level system called WebGL. Dealing with it manually is a total nightmare.
Like telling the computer exactly what pixels to color.
Exactly. But Three.js is an abstraction library. It hides all that ugly wiring and gives developers a clean set of commands.
So because the environment is clean, the AI doesn't get confused.
Right. It allows both the developer and the AI to focus entirely on intent rather than syntax. It connects back to the NVIDIA workflows we talked about. AI is wildly competent, but only when we build the right abstractions for it to operate within.
That makes total sense. But, all this digital abstraction, the cloud magic, the 3D rendering, it's all entirely dependent on brutally hard physical engineering.
Which brings us to the physical layer.
Rockets.
Yes, we have an update from SpaceX. They just announced the launch of 24 Starlink satellites on a Falcon 9 from California. And the routine of it is mind-blowing. This was the 92nd flight of 2026. They used booster B193 for its 16th time.
That's just wild reusability.
It contributes to a constellation of over 10,900 active satellites with a 99.5% mission success rate.
The cynical view here is that SpaceX has made spaceflight so routine that people literally just scroll past it on their feed.
Totally. It's just background noise now. But the second order effect is a total, unassailable monopoly on low Earth orbit infrastructure. They own the physical internet layer that all those AI tools we just discussed actually rely on.
Which really brings it down to the philosophy of the builder, right? Whether you're building an AI workflow or launching rockets, there's a fundamental friction in how you succeed. And we have two posts today that complement each other perfectly, but seem contradictory.
Okay, who are they from?
First, from Y Combinator's Paul Graham, via his PAULG account. He noted that a surprising amount of his job is just giving founders permission to simplify. He tells them, you don't need to X, just Y.
The relentless stripping away of complexity.
Right. But then you pair that immediately with Alex Hormozi's advice on getting rich. He says basically have higher standards than your customers and charge a lot of money. I'm having a hard time squaring these. Is Paul Graham's simplicity the only way you can actually afford to deliver Hormozi's higher standards?
Yes, exactly. On the surface, they look like opposites, but they're the same equation. When you strip away the overcomplicated features, like Graham suggests, you free up massive resources.
Right, time and capital.
And you pour all of that into exceeding expectations on the core deliverable, which is what Hormozi preaches. When your core product is undeniably superior, it creates the margin that allows for premium pricing. Simplicity enables you to over-deliver.
I love that. And I want to close today with a grounding historical moment from the Engineer's Feed account, because we've talked about trillion-dollar AI and orbital monopolies all day.
It's good to get some perspective.
Exactly. On August 4th, 1922, the entire U.S. and Canadian telephone system, 13 million phones and 60,000 operators, was shut down for exactly 1 minute as a tribute during Alexander Graham Bell's funeral.
Wow. A literal moment of silence across the entire grid.
13 million phones, totally dead,
Yeah.
intentionally. I try to imagine attempting that today, and my brain just short circuits.
The contrast is terrifying, honestly. In 1922, shutting down the network for a minute was a beautiful tribute. Today, if Starlink or the AI compute grids went down for exactly 1 minute, the global economy would panic.
Everything would halt.
Completely. We've transitioned from tech being a novelty, a convenience, to tech being oxygen. We've built a world where we can no longer hold our breath, even for 60 seconds.
That is heavy.
Yeah.
But based on all these trends today, From the AI turf wars to the physical layer in space, what is your prediction for tomorrow?
Well, as AI coding tools and creative workflows become highly commoditized, which we're seeing with Google and those free developer models, the true economic premium is going to move away from software creation entirely.
Oh, where does it go?
It shifts toward those who own unique physical world infrastructure. If you own the physical compute power in Armenia or the satellite backhaul in orbit, you hold the leverage. Software is becoming cheap, physical reality is still scarce.
So for you, listening right now, let's leave you with a final thought to mull over. If an AI can now perfectly execute your creative intent in a 3D space, and a guided workflow is about to replace all the step-by-step tasks in your daily job, what is the core, irreplaceable standard you bring to your work that you can still charge a premium for?
It really is the only question that matters now.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back tomorrow to process the next wave of the wire. Stay sharp.